Good evening, I'm Ryan McKern. And thank you so much for listening. For a preview of my upcoming story, The Hideaway, which will be featured on a compilation of short stories to be released soon on Amazon, both in paperback and Kindle. This story means a lot to me, and it's a first part to many series in The Hideaway. Thank you again for listening. Appreciate it. I hope you enjoy. And if you do, please share and like. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Chapter 1, Act 1, The Hideaway, by Ryan Michael McKern. The Hideaway is a log cabin in Minnesota, the 1700s. Its services included that were not limited to the offering of illegal liquor, which is much sought after in the last days of the dying Prohibition era. In the basement, some speakeasies have flourished and have functioned beneath the salt limestone that surrounds the jagged hillside of downtown Stillwater. According to the local and National Register documentation, anecdotal accounts recorded on their recent menu and thus confirmed by local newspaper articles have reported the logging cabin's role in the informal network of gangsters stops during the 1930s, when St. Paul enjoyed a national registration for crime. St. Paul at once was tagged as the nicknamed St. Mud by crime and documentaries alike, both in print and on film. The press states that visits by Al Capone, John Dillinger, and other crime families of such notoriety are a part of its lore. Inside the Hideaway is a snow-filled twilight hue of blue rose color and crisp brumal wonder. And now our story begins. Nearby, across from each other, sit two men wearing three-piece suits, accessorized with a gold pocket watch, matching ties, and a color-coordinated pocket square. One man wears a suit of black, and the other identical of a suit of red. Lit cube classic cocktails lay on the table next to their fedoras, adjacent to a wood antique hat rack, supporting the gentlemen's hats, coats, and long trench coats. They continue to smoke cigars and stare at each other in a timeless ruby-red restaurant booth, illuminated only by a white crystal diner candle holder. A game of cards has been played earlier, as the appetizers of hummus and olives were served just spaces apart at their table. The kitchen of the Hideaway is tucked behind a dark-stained varnished wall, which garnered the taxidermy big game buck, a true work of steady artistic craftsmanship and trophy in the Midwest hunting circuit. This piece, being a large buck deer head and antlers, had the aesthetic of rural Minnesota tradition, yet a facade of cosmic uncertainty. In front of each of the men is a chessboard. The red suit man has played the red piece, KD4, and the player with the black suit and black chess piece grimaces, moves play, BE5. A second course of Mediterranean lamb and tzatziki arrives at the table. The owners of the Hideaway sip cognac and watch the Stillwater skyline. In a window glaze, an acrylic kaleidoscope blues in a backdrop of lightly falling white snow. Like clockwork, a music box-like dreamy piano plays its glockenspiel melodies in the back of the cabin for all the restaurant to enjoy. Meanwhile, not far, but not close enough to see. Lumberjack Boomtown. Welcome to Stillwater, Minnesota. Amidst the popcorn clamor and draft stub shots, a euphoria of the downtown bars and antique shops. My day changed on Myrtle and Main Street, an insidious concoction of 80s nostalgia milkshakes and riverboats along the Crescent border. As a county official, It was the place to be. America's sweet while the nights were quiet to drink. 10 p.m. the night begins. Walking down the main street in the comfort. It's a comfort in a childhood dream. Your face, a fantasy of like everything fits into the Rockwell painting. Yet at night, the seediness rises like a pesky hangover. Most nights are pretty troubleless. A few DUIs, a few lights. We have fights with a biker bar down the road. Maybe a theft from a boat dock downtown. But minor compared to other cities. Just a bubble in time, caught in frame life through rose-colored eyes. My name is Detective Draper. And tonight is a still frame. A hot but cool breeze. Buildings are stacked in brevity as the patrons of the bars and restaurants enjoy cocktails and cuisine, none of which shy of a fusion of German and Scandinavian wines. I glare outside towards the bridge, separating the Minnesota and Wisconsin border, like a traffic ray, dancing alongside an eerie true light of the shrine. The bridge was constructed in 1931, includes 6 steel Parker through truss spans, one movable span of the type of community known as Waddle, and Harrington, vertical lift. I enjoy smoking cigars by the dock. A monologue goes through my head, watching the traffic pass. Perhaps a mystery and a puzzle of an automobile's frantic headlight waltz. They're to and from virtually nowhere. Two-way ticket to the same place. I make my way down the train tracks, a ghost of a railway that once flourished in imports from various lucrative ventures. The dinner train was something to be held, and a doo-wop, 30s barbershop quartet, dancing in the aisles as patrons enjoyed the ribeye and lemon-peppered salmon, or course delight, shared by old-fashioned cocktails and an autumn serenity of a majestic forest. All of which is gone now. The city changes like a strained dollar bill. Yet to progress, yet a stain or residue of tide left on the waiting shore of old. I walk past Lucky's gas station, down the dark, warm trail to Charlie's pub, and a restaurant just a stone's throw away from the border of the river. The drinks are strong, the music's loud, and a perfect retreat. I notice the cigar ash blowing past my suit, flowing from among the summer night wind. Cicadas hum around a June serenade to the acock patrons of the Madcapper German Grill down the street. In the distance, businessmen on their weekend cruise can be seen boating and docked like flames on the blue water. I push forward through the tracks, steady but resilient fashion. I just listen to the nightlife around me. As I approach the steps in the backward entrance of Charlie's pub, a Guinness ought to be my serene nightcap. That's what I believe. Extinguishing my cigar onto the shoreline rocks and against my tan-winched shoes, I straighten my mahogany-colored tie and slip back. I reach for my black frame glasses in my breast pocket. One nightcap or 30, I will mutter to myself. Well, I'll try to convince myself, for that matter. Almost cracking a sinister grin, I guess. Much of that seen as a classic symphony, ink reel and cartoon. You're familiar. The swing the Victorian door open, remove my hat, and I walk through, entering the lobby of the hotel for which the club is connected inside.